Robert, your friend is too funny.
What?
I mean, his views are obviously reprehensible, but there's just enough truth to make me examine myself in a critical light. Plus, he's hilarious and thus oddly likable.
Huh? Well, it's a pleasure to meet you as well, ma'am.
It's about the love change. Do it with some soul in a little love change. Yeah, it's about the love change. Do it with some soul in a little love change. You can't make a change unless you got the love change. Do it with some soul in a little love change. You can't make a change unless you got some love change. Do it with some soul in a little love change. We started from the bottom, talking about the roots. Every time I'm in the
Howdy ho, neighborinos. Welcome back to the Boondocks Podcast. Today we are discussing Season 3, Episode 11, The Lovely Ebony Brown, in which Granddad finds a black woman so beautiful and charming, not even Ruckus can hate her. Ebony Brown is perfect in every way. So is this the end of Granddad's long, sad, desperate search for a woman? Not if he can help it. But before that, y'all know what it is. How you living? What you doing? How you feeling?
Happy November.
Happy November.
It's almost the end of the year already.
It's nuts.
I don't know how that's it. Like the last 2 years just don't feel like real time anymore.
Oh, yeah. I told my husband, you have to take that off the amount of time it takes for you to divorce me and replace me with a younger model because it's not fair. So, and he said, if anything, it excels that period of time. Y'all know how it is. Y'all know what's up. Any current events? Any news y'all want to discuss?
Did you see was it Kanye and Justin Bieber and Marilyn Manson doing like a prayer thing together on stage the other day?
Who's Kanye? Oh, you mean Yay?
Yeah, that
Girl, I'm fucking around. No, I did not.
I don't even know what that was, honestly.
No. I did see Kim K is supposedly, at least the press is running with, oh my God,
They're
she's
not dating.
I don't think so either,
That's
girl.
So annoying.
I
They're
don't
just
think
fucking.
So
And I don't even think that.
I think
he's not his.
Yeah.
He's not brown enough.
Agreed.
She has a preference.
Agreed. She
And I don't care if he has a
absolutely
big dick,
does.
but I don't.
If he keeps
he's
tattooing
goofy.
himself.
No, he keeps taking them off. He's actually taking his tattoos off.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
It
I
is.
don't keep up with Pete Davidson too much.
It's
Watch him
probably
tweet his ancestry tomorrow.
Yeah. It's probably one of those things where she's really depressed after the divorce and he like makes her laugh. So she's, let's just do something stupid for a little while. My sister's all serious with her new boyfriend. So
I think they're just-
fiance.
They're not serious. They're annoying.
Right.
Nobody cares. She's just happy she can have a little bit of this the spotlight. But that's just until the new shows come out. Her being with Pete Davidson is totally because she was just on SNL. She did a good job. That makes sense to say now they're friends, and she has a new show coming out soon.
Did you watch it? I haven't watched that episode of
heard it.
SNL yet.
Yeah, it was really good. She did a great job.
Good.
She did a really,
right.
really. I was surprised, but she did good, and good writers, I'm sure, to help her have content that she would have done well in. But it was good, and plus, she has so much money that you could have hired the best acting coach ever to make you somewhat likable or hold the position well. But she did really good.
I always wonder when somebody who is definitely not an actor goes on a show like that. Like, I wonder how much work ahead of time. You know that she's been acting forever because all of that vapidness cannot be. Yeah, she's too fucking smart to be that dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't really watched Saturday Night Live regularly for a while because they were using too many people that weren't very funny. I don't know how to say that. It was hit or miss with me. I'll say it that way. And it was more miss than hit. So I stopped watching it regularly. But I've been catching pieces here and there more and more lately now that we don't have regular TV. And whatever streaming service has SNL, it'll show me clips randomly.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, YouTube shows them.
Yeah, it's
and
probably
that's the way
YouTube
to kinda
TV.
get into it, but
Yeah, the last one we watched was
it's,
the one with Jason Sudeikis.
We did watch that one, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a recent one.
Okay, so yeah, that was the most recent one.
Mhm.
That one was really
Was
good.
that
And that
this
actually
weekend?
leads me
Last
into what I made hubby do the other day. We watched every single Ooh Wee, What's Up With That?
Yes.
Every single one. Every single one. That shit's hilarious to me.
That's
He's looking
the
at me
only
like,
one I
why
ever
was it funny? I
saw.
was like, I don't know.
Oh,
I-
no.
So funny. Jason Sudeikis doing the Running Man and the Roger Rabbit and all that shit is
Yes.
it's hilarious.
That was the first time I'd ever seen it. Again, like
that,
like
that
she
was
said,
kind of
we
the
haven't
era
watched
that
any.
yeah. Yeah.
So it probably wasn't super funny to you guys.
it was still
because-
funny.
It was funny, but it was. I think it was a little confusing as well.
Yes, definitely.
And then my sister told me Lindsay Cunningham was actually on SNL.
on it. Yes.
Yes.
Do you know, I was like, oh my God, that's what he looks like. That's what he is. That's what like, yeah.
And then she
It-
goes, was that the Kim
funny.
K episode that he was on? I think it was. And then she was like,
no, it wasn't that one.
okay.
Because it was the one with Jason Sudeikis on it.
No, not the one with What's Up With That. The one where Lindsay Cunningham actually shows up, because it used to always be, oh my God, I can't think of the guy's name. It's not Jason
Yeah,
Sudeikis,
yeah.
but the one SNL guy would always play Buckingham.
Yeah, they
not
were both
Cunningham.
on there.
okay.
They were both on the same episode
But-
with Jason Sudeikis.
But Lindsay wasn't
I just
on the
watched it.
one with Jason. Like, he wasn't on
yeah,
the
he
show.
he came on at the end.
Did
So
he?
during the What's Up With That skit, when he all of a sudden introduces people that aren't on the show,
Oh,
he
get
introduced the
out.
real Lindsay Buckingham.
Get out. I did not even catch
Lindsay
that.
Buckingham from Fleetwood Mac.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because every episode of What's
Yeah.
Up With That, they would have an SNL character playing Lindsay Buckingham. But he would ask Lindsay like a deep, provocative question. But every time before he could answer, they would break into "What's up with that?"
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that was-
nobody else gets to say anything. Like he breaks into the song, and nobody that he has there is that he actually talks to. So he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, my buddy, you didn't get to the whole time." And then he's like, "Come on, don't be mad, And then he starts smiling. Yeah, it's actually hilarious. Like it's
Yes.
yeah, especially when he came on and they were dressed exactly like hubby. Goes, wait a minute, is that how he really dresses? And I'm like, hubby, I'm sure that they gave him that on the show. I'm sure Lindsay Buckingham doesn't wear that every day, but yeah, really, hubby knows. He just left to go to the store, but I made him literally watch every single What's Up With That,
I love it.
like back to back.
Eat an edible and then not let him go to sleep yet.
Well,
Let's watch him. Let's watch him.
I'll watch it. I have no issue with it. I
Now
know there are
see-
some issues with some of the
Bill
humor
Hader.
in there falls
Hader.
flat for me, but
That's why I was saying like
Yeah.
it's hit or miss for me. But
I think still my favorite, just because I love John Mulaney, is when he was at the wedding and doing and dancing.
So Bill Hader played Lindsay Buckingham and all
Yes.
the
Yes.
He's
so
fucking
they were on
funny.
there together.
By the way, if you
It was
haven't
really
seen
funny
if you
because
haven't
Lindsay
seen
broke into
if you haven't seen Barry, go watch it.
guitar riff. Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was one of the better ones. But yeah, that was when I really fell in love with SNL. Probably was during that time of Will Ferrell, and then it all rolled into when it was like the years of the women, Amy Poehler, and Kristen Wiig, and then just moved in. And now it's newer people, but it's people that I can recognize from other things. Like somebody who used to be on MTV, Mikey Day. He's on there and he's killing it. He used to be on like Wildin' Out when it first started, way back in the day, and he is killing. Like he came on and immediately he was part of the record. He was in everything, but he's so good. They have this one Asian guy who's very clearly part of LGBTQ plus community, and he's funny as hell too. And you don't normally see someone of the Asian descent who is a lead character or a lead actor on a sketch show like that.
Yeah, Bowen Yang. I was
Not
mad
since Bobby
though.
Lee.
He stole
Right.
our granddad. Well, we on Trash Talking Podcast always do a character, Granddaddy Longlegs, and he did that Daddy Longlegs skit, and it was so fucking
Yeah.
funny with the bug assembly. He
Yeah,
is
he's really
amazing.
funny. Yeah, they're doing. I think they're getting back into because they're allowing more diversity, and they're getting younger and younger, not too young, but younger and younger people that'll be a part of the show, and then they're also allowing them the opportunity to create more of what their sketches and things, like to have more, I guess, kind of equity within what they're doing, which then turns out better content, I think. So, and then when we have so much shitty stuff going on, they have all the content that they need to within pop culture and political scene. But
Oh yeah, Jost and Shay do a really good job.
Yes.
love Colin Jost. Oh my gosh, love him so much. They had this past episode or 2 episodes ago where the devil, Jason Sudeikis played the devil.
Yep.
oh yeah.
And he made a joke to Colin Jost. Hey, don't let us forget how you got,
You got ScarJo.
how you got Scarlet. Yeah. Like they made a pact. I was like, that's funny. Yeah. And that was totally ad-libbed. Like you can tell when they ad-lib on there, but Jost and Che are just the greatest. Like the weekend update is definitely my favorite to watch on there. So,
Especially their end of the year closer where they write each other's jokes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Always the best. Oh my God. I cannot wait.
Colin
for it.
Jost is, you're gonna get me killed. You're gonna get me killed with me.
'Cause, yeah,
like, that's what's gonna happen. So pretty exciting. I found out on Friday. I was driving to Sonora, which is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful part of California that I've never been in. And I got the message. It's crazy driving there. Like it's in mountains. So all of a sudden it went from like just regular road to these sharp 20-mile-per-hour turns. And I'm listening to Eminem and I'm just like focused on cruise control. And I'm like, oh, wait, okay. Cannot be looking at my phone while I'm driving. So I got the original message while I was driving and I just responded by voice like, oh my God, thank you. That's so cool. Let me know. And then put my phone down and slipped my mind until later that evening when we were getting to the campground and people were saying hi and whatnot. And I may have had a shroom. Maybe. I don't know. And so all of a sudden I was like, hey, everybody listen to me at the fire pit. Like it just changed my mind like right there. And yeah. So hubby goes, oh my God. So yeah, a couple things that I'm claiming. I am doing more. I think I've kind of manifested things to happen. So I'm claiming them. And yeah.
That's
And
really
you
cool.
should.
Yeah, that is really
That's a
cool.
Something I hate is people who try and say, oh my God, MJ's so arrogant. I can't believe she's on here celebrating herself. Bitch.
Nobody says that shit.
People do. People absolutely do.
Fuck them, then.
Haters. They absolutely do. But it's like,
And
listen,
guess what? I love you guys because you guys know
Exactly.
everybody needs haters. Like Cat
That-
Williams said, if you don't move up from 7 haters to 15, you're not doing shit right. So keep it coming.
Or
Keep it
like I
coming.
say, you know you're the shit when the flies arrive. So
Well, hey,
keep it going.
I like
keep
that.
it going.
Right?
Actually.
I can swat you down. I can get one of those. Have you guys seen those fly guns that shoots like salt water?
Yeah,
at 'em?
you,
Hey,
like grains
I
of
can get some of
salt.
those. Yeah,
I feel like that's
just keep
something
shooting you
you've had
down.
before, or you've done the fly swatters, but you shoot salt at them and
No, I've seen those
Seen that.
guns. I think I saw, what was that? Think Geek used to sell 'em.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
They're awesome. You shouldn't get that much excitement, but sometimes when the flies are just way too aggressive, it is you get a little bit of enjoyment out of it. But to that point of the haters can say what they want, but I am also the biggest supporter of those people that I love and I believe in as well. And
Absolutely.
if you knew me on a personal level, which you don't, then you would know that about me. But keep being haters and keyboard gangsters.
I can honestly say that both of you are huge inspirations for me. Like I said it on Twitter the other day, but I once we move and settle in, I'm gonna be starting up my own consulting kind of thing, but for IEP consultations and like families of children with big behaviors and things like that. Just like my quote unquote special interest, and also to use that as a way to get research done if I do decide to continue along my educational path. And I'm saying these words so weirdly because it's hard to describe that I'm in a master's program that is designed to lead to a PhD, but I don't have to get a PhD. But if I go for a PhD, I'm going to need to get some kind of income.
Okay, I didn't see that,
Yes.
but I saw
It's
the
all
book. I saw
connected.
you say, I'm going to write a book.
Yep, the
I
book
was
is
like,
connected
yes,
too.
queen. Yeah, so if you guys need SEO, I'm here. Also,
Look, and write a book for sure. You
Yeah.
have a lot to be able to share and different experiences. So I think that'd be awesome. And yes, and look, having an income after your true passion and purpose is huge because you want to be able to do what you're passionate about and what your purpose is.
I have never tried to start my own business. I've never thought about something like that. I don't know very many people who have. Most of the people that I know are, for lack of a better phrase, wage slaves. We work jobs that we work because we need to have the paycheck that we have, not because we love what we do. And I am really hoping to love what I do. So
yeah, it's
But
a
anyway.
privilege. I'm not going to pretend it's not, and I'm not going to pretend I could have gotten out here and started my own business without my mom first saying, quit that fucking job. You don't deserve that shit. Quit that job. And then my husband finally getting on board. But to MJ's point, and also to the point I was driving when I said to her, I hate when people say, don't promote yourself. Girl, like you said, you know what you know and you're good at what you're good at. You stating that is fabulous. And anyone who takes issue with it is dismissive of your experience, your education, your journey. They can eat a whole dick. Okay.
Hold it. A whole bag of them.
Yep.
But yeah, and it's that too. But I myself would not want to work with somebody or put my money into somebody who is not confident in what the hell that they do.
Yep.
Why would I want to do that? Why, if it's too much right, you should do it, not run away from it. And the way that I see it is old me, before me really knowing what my purpose was and just doing the day-to-day jobs and doing some success to make other people look good. I definitely would have taken offense to somebody saying something, but not even 10 months ago, I took offense to what somebody had to say about me on here. However, I take it now as you're just nowhere near the journey that I've gone on or that I've been accountable to put myself into. You're nowhere near that. You don't even know that there's a journey that you're supposed to be going on yourself, and you're unhappy, because if you really want to know, you'd be really hating on me for a lot of stuff that goes well in my life. People, I think, when I tell them that we are going into our second year of this pod, and that we have people that are close to the show and to the creation of what we're discussing every week, know that we're out there and that we're doing something that a lot of people, when I tell them about the pod, they go, wow, that's interesting. I really want to listen to that. Or I haven't thought about that show in a while, but it was my favorite. Or wow, it is going to be interesting to see how it relates to today's world. That's something that I know that we are all very proud of.
Yeah.
And that if you are once again mad about somebody else's accomplishments, then maybe you should look at why you're not proud of any accomplishments that you may have.
I like that.
Totally agree.
And,
And it's going to tie into this episode.
Yeah.
No,
I was
go
just-
ahead. Yep.
That was perfect. That was almost like we had planned a segue, because I'm watching the time and having producer man next to me.
Yeah.
I'm very aware of how long we're taking on things. And it's almost like the perfect timing, right when he was like, finger was going up. I was about to start circling. I'm like, she's doing it. She's doing it right now.
Right. Hey, it just happens naturally.
Yeah.
You know,
We can just feel it at this point. We're starting to get the timing and rhythm and blah, 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 blah.
Get after it.
I'm getting after it. All right. The Lovely Ebony Brown, Season 3, Episode 11. We start with Robert typing up a Facebook post telling how he's leaving the platform because he's had nothing but bad luck with the women he's attempted to date on there, despite the fact that he was an astrophysicist, a soccer star, an ex-UFC welterweight champion with very bad Photoshop and all.
Also, I'm sorry I didn't pick this clip, or any of us did, because we should have. I hate when people do this shit. Just take your ass off the platform.
Right.
Shut the fuck up.
Right?
But
Or
That was
leave a
actually
dissertation.
it was funny too, because if you're actually deleting your profile, whatever you're typing up is going to be
They're
deleted
not gonna
with it.
see.
Right?
Exactly.
Nobody's
That's what
going
I
to fucking
thought.
see.
Yeah.
But they always come back within a week.
Right. All right. Next, we have Robert at the park with Tom and Ruckus getting ready to go jogging. Tom mentions that he saw Robert's Facebook post. Ruckus says that the only reason Robert is having so many issues is that he's dating black women and that he can never be happy that way. Tom tries to defend Robert, but Ruckus says Tom's only happy because he got himself a white woman. Basically saying that Tom can't say anything because he married a white woman, which I know the point of that in the show is because who Tom is aspiring to whiteness without actually having that kind of overtness of Ruckus. I love that Tom tried to say, there's nothing wrong with black women. And Ruckus says, you married a white woman. What's up?
He's shut up. Boy, shut up. Like, really. Basically, he said eat a dick.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Robert is ready to start jogging, but he realizes he needs to tie his shoes. As he's doing so, a gorgeous black woman comes jogging up and stops at the park bench where Robert is tying his shoes. She introduces herself as Ebony Brown. Robert comes home and excitedly tells the boys about Ebony. The boys arm up. They just think that any girl that Granddad is going to bring over. Oh, that was something I forgot to mention, that when he was doing that Facebook post, he was talking about all these horrible women that he had met, not caring the fact that he was lying to them too. But so yeah, Riley tells Granddad to be careful because she's only after his money. Huey tells him that he should just take it slow and get to know her. Basically, don't bring her back here until she's safe, because they've had kidnapping attempts and murder attempts and all kinds of shit just because Granddad has a type. Ebony and Robert pull up to the restaurant for their first date, and Ebony's door is opened by none other than the valet, Uncle Ruckus. At first, he insults her by referring to her as a chimpanzee and a monkey and settling on Negro female. Just then, Robert gets out of the car and asks Ruckus how he has so many jobs. He pulls Ruckus aside to talk to him.
Robert Freeman, I swear, every time I'm ready to count you amongst the smartest of the accursed sons of Ham, you manage to prove me wrong.
Won't you leave us alone tonight, Ruckus? You're not going to ruin this for me. We're just going to get to know each other.
Oh, really? Really? Well, I'll tell you everything you need to know right now. She got kids, she got a police record, and she got debt up to her wide nostrils.
Well, we'll see about that. But you just leave us alone.
Very important that he says that. So I love that this is because when they were at the park, Ruckus was like, yeah, leave the black women, leave them alone. And then all of a sudden, Robert has a black woman again. So of course, he's, what the hell is wrong with you? And I just love that Robert's like, shut up. Like there's nothing more than that. Dude, come on, let me get some. She's beautiful.
That he whipped out the accursed sons of Ham.
Yeah.
Fucking Mormon shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Robert heads inside the restaurant with Ebony. In an effort to get to know her and put Ruckus's claims to rest in one fell swoop, he asks her about kids, an arrest record, and debt. She has none of those things. Robert then excuses himself to go to the bathroom.
Reading to her.
I love how just like confident she was. Like, and I wish I'd written down exactly what she said, but just basically like answering out of order too, which isn't okay. Just sorry, my high brain, autistic brain just caught on something. It's usually when someone asks you like 3 things in a row, you're going to answer it in the order that they asked you. So that's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's what my brain does.
I think because I think the way that he asked left it where she'd be like, okay, well, guess what? There's none of this. There's nothing. Like she just picked up at the last thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But perfect credit and perfect
credit. Yeah. Robert excuses himself to go to the restroom. Tells Ruckus that he's wrong. Ruckus says he needs to question her, which of course Robert tells him not to, but he goes and does it anyway. When Robert goes into the bathroom, he has a confrontation with the bathroom attendant about tipping. And I know that this was basically just like a throwaway scene just to pass a little bit of time to show that Ruckus was talking to her while he was in there. But it was still funny as fuck.
And I forget what it's called, y'all. Because I went to school for writing.
Mhm.
It's one of the things you do to establish a character. Do you remember back in the episode where they snuck into the movie theater when Robert gets in the argument with the guy about the popcorn and having to get his own butter?
Yeah.
It's like a continual theme that strengthens his character. Oh, I'm paying. I shouldn't have to tip. I shouldn't have to get my own butter for my popcorn.
I didn't ask you for this, so therefore, yeah.
Yes.
You shouldn't tip $5 to the guy in the bathroom.
Especially when all they do is turn on the water and hand you the shit. Like I see if like I'm buying like I'm getting some lotion, I'm getting sprayed down, cigarettes or something. Yeah. Like you should be able to walk out the bathroom with hella shit for $5. Really.
I used to give them big tips, like $5 tips, $10 tips and stuff, only because I never had to be the bathroom girl, but I was the table girl. Like I used to bring, when you ordered bottles, I'd bring you the bottle. It's not a cocktail waitress.
I was like, girl, you were a good bottle, sir. You just like
bottle
at the table
service.
and the chair.
That's what it is. Nope. I did not like it. They quickly moved me off of it because I was like, I do not like it because you have to sit on their laps.
Ew.
Fuck
that shit.
Like you're supposed to, you don't have to do anything, but like in that job role, if you take it, you are expected to give them a good experience. Not sucking people's dicks and shit, but like you were expected to like flirt and nope, don't do it. Sit on their lap. Nope, not doing it. Not me, not Lindsay. Sorry. Can I have your number?
Gave some handy J's.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, that's why they moved me out, because there were other girls in the club who were willing to work VIP.
Yeah.
I was not going to quote unquote work VIP. Sorry, not sorry. And I don't judge anyone who does. Get that guap, but it just was not me. But having experienced those kinds of jobs, or clean up, we used to all stay after hours and clean up and still party with people. Mostly people do coke at that time. I hate to tell you guys, but that's what they do.
Yep.
I worked in bars.
Yeah. Being in that life, you get it, right?
I wasn't a fan. I didn't do it, but also I knew exactly why they were doing it. Because people are fucking assholes and you up until 6 o'clock in the morning.
And call centers are a different kind of hell with a specific type of Karen. So I also get that.
I did call centers and restaurants, so I know exactly what you mean. So that's why I tip in restaurants.
Yep.
Like I try to make sure probably leave money, and I'm like, that's all you're gonna leave?
Yep.
And he's like, did. And I'm like, come on, babe, we used to do this, but
They are paid to do it.
Yeah, I'm definitely a 20% tipper, like as the like where my average is. Like sometimes a little higher, very rarely lower, because the minimum wage for restaurant workers is like $2. $2 and change almost everywhere across the country.
Service we get they don't do check bags. They don't do. I gotta ask them 5 times.
Oh yeah, no,
if
there's
you're doing your
shitty
job, I will
service
happily
gets
tip
less
you
of a
well for
tip.
doing your job.
Absolutely.
And that's part of the problem. When you've done it, you are like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, it's been 3
Yeah,
minutes.
it
She
was
is not
sad.
back with my soda.
Yeah.
It is 7 minutes. Appetizers are supposed to be done right now. 15 minutes.
Oh yeah,
So that
absolutely.
as well. But yeah, but I get you. But yeah, some of the women that have worked in like strip clubs or whatnot that are in the bathroom, they're usually older. And so I will try to compensate. But $5 and all you did was hand me a napkin and turn on the water. I don't know.
I honestly don't think I've ever been anywhere that had a bathroom attendant while I was there. I've been to a few places that had that service available during, I guess, certain times or whatever, but we didn't go at those times. Or it would be like a fancy hotel that some roller derby thing was happening in, which was ridiculous because we'd all be walking around in fishnets with all the fancy people. But, you know, that would be like the extent of, I don't know, I've never really been anywhere fancy, I guess. I tend to like the dive bars and the strip clubs
same.
that you can't see where you're
Like
All
walking.
bathroom tents I've been at have had were at strip clubs. That's why I'm like not tipping to do $5 unless you like are spraying me down to cologne.
I've never been to a
Just so I
strip club
wash
with
my
an
hands.
attendant in the bathroom.
I'm not tipping you $5.
I go to the
Now-
dive bar strip clubs too, though. Like the fancy
Yeah.
ones
Well,
make
most
me
of them,
uncomfortable.
yeah. Most of them out here, like if we're just going to one in Sacramento, they damn for sure. They barely have a bathroom. So they damn for sure don't have a bathroom attendant.
Right.
But this is like Vegas level. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's
I've
real.
never. I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever actually gone to see. I've seen burlesque in Vegas, but I don't think I've ever seen more than showgirl type stuff.
Oh,
Just
no,
funny.
we don't have that.
And I'm just talking about basic downtown Rochester. I always say the whole of Rochester is a ghetto. The suburbs are very, 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 very wealthy. But the city is very, 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 very ghetto, although there are a lot of rich people there too. Someone I used to date told me Rochester had, at that time, the biggest disparity between wealth and poverty in the country.
Really?
At that time, I guess. But like these clubs, I think, would just do it to try to emulate class. Like it was
Mhm.
pretty much everywhere. If you went out dancing, like I wasn't going anywhere fancy. I was just going to the popular nightclubs, doing hood rat shit with my friends. So, and they would always just have the bathroom attendant. And they never badgered you or bugged you to tip or anything.
Yeah.
Like the jar sat there on the bathroom counter and you would just put whatever in.
I think New
But-
York's a little different, and that's why people always
Mhm.
say it's one of the best cities in the world because of that culture. Like they try to keep a certain culture going.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
there's New York and there's
Yeah, San Francisco, I
And
guess
then
there are a
everything
couple
else, yeah.
places. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's that part. Hubby just pointed something else out. We don't go to clubs anymore either, so that could
Oh,
be.
hell no.
They
Hell
could be in
no.
every single club right now.
Right,
Every
right.
single
Very
one.
true. I
I
don't
wouldn't have
go
any
to.
idea.
Yeah, I'm old and broken, and the clubs that I do go in are usually again dive bars or goth clubs.
Yep.
So
And that's the only place I want to be. I never do. I want to. That Kim Kardashian skit they did on SNL.
When
where
she was
she's-
asleep.
Yes.
That shit was,
Yep. That's it.
shit.
That's the
That was
tweet.
hilarious. The other one had to shit. The other one.
Yeah.
You've got to watch it. I want to.
Yeah, I
like,
think I'm
feel
gonna
like
have
giving
to.
spoilers for T here, so you have to watch it. But once again, Dean's probably this is nothing. to
yeah,
do
he's
with
doing the
goddamn-
wrap it up.
Okay.
All right.
We're done.
So Robert runs out of the bathroom with the attendant screaming, "You lucky I can't leave this restroom, nigga." Like, yeah, how intimidating is the bathroom attendant, though, really?
Right.
So
You work in the bathroom.
you're right. He heads back to the table and he sees Ruckus interrogating Ebony. He runs over and tells him to leave. At this point in the show, so there are literally like 3 words that hurt my heart. And one of them was in this episode. And I know a lot of people don't hear this word and think negatively about it. But the word retard is a word that should not ever be applied to a human being in my not just my personal opinion, but also my professional opinion. And so that word showed up in this episode in relation to Ruckus. And I just wanted to point that out and move on. But I wanted to point that out.
Totally agree. And it is still rampant in
Yeah.
Black culture. A
Yeah.
lot of people say it. I don't know about white culture. I don't know what y'all do, but Black
I
culture
think-
people say it still.
I think white culture is saying it a lot less now because they will point it out to each other because it's not a racial thing. It's easy. Oh, I can call out that white person for the stupid white thing they said. It had nothing to do with race. So therefore, so I see that a lot. There are movements where it's, God, what is it? I don't know. I've seen a couple things I can't think of right now, but it's like the movement to end the word and it's the R word. And yeah, so yeah, that is something that has been a part of my entire life that has bothered me my entire life. So I always try to call people out when they do that, because there is no need for that word to ever be applied to a human, because not even science does that anymore.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
It's not the S word, Dean says. Which I'd forgotten about until you said it.
What's the S word?
Spear shucker, remember?
Oh, okay. Oh, that one's
Where the teacher was like,
whatever.
I was thinking, how's a nigga gonna borrow fire? How do you know?
But he would say the S word, but he
Yeah.
fucking spear. Okay. Anyway, so Robert tells him to leave. Ebony says that she finds Ruckus funny, even though his views are reprehensible, and but his views help her take a look at herself critically. This was our opening little thing. Because the way that Ruckus responded to this was just hilarious. He was not just surprised, but honestly looked like he was like starstruck all of a sudden. Like, this beautiful woman was just nice to me, despite the fact that she's a Black woman.
I have to say, they drew was animated, but they did draw her where she was attractive. And I don't know if it was just because of her whole demeanor. She wasn't one of the crazier ones or what, but it was like, okay, I could see it. And then part of me was like, what is she going with old ass grandpa?
I was actually wondering that myself. Like, it did seem, I understood where suspicion would come from all of their friends when this beautiful woman just picks up an old man at the park.
Listen, as a girl with a husband who's 7 years older than her, and I had
Granddad
been
is like
told-
20 easy
Her husband
years
doesn't
older than
look
this
like
woman.
it, though.
Maybe more than that.
No.
He went to the doctor and they said he hadn't been to the doctor in 57 years in this next one. So
All right, so he's
But
like in his
even
70s,
still-
and she's maybe in her 30s.
Even
Maybe
still,
40s.
at one point, I didn't go through with it, but I was talking to, right? We weren't dating, but I was talking to a politician, and I had to be maybe 28 at that time, and he had to be maybe 50 something, obviously going through a midlife crisis. But I didn't like him because of daddy issues. I have always, my first boyfriend was a year younger than me, but I have always liked older men. Why? Because they vibe on a different level than men my age, and that's no shade to anyone my age. At 35 now, sure, I would probably meet men who are more on my maturity level. But when I was in my 20s, look at the shit we talk about on this podcast. I'd be like, oh, do you guys want to talk about the Pablo Picasso exhibit that's going on at the Rochester Art Museum right now? And they'd be like, girl, I want to talk about these fucking nuts. And I was not with it. I was not interested in
I was
it.
like, Petey Pablo? What are you talking about? Which
Right,
Pablo?
exactly.
I get you.
And my parents were older. My mom had me when she was 36. So keep in mind, I'm one of those kids who grew up with a lot older parents than my friends. I'm having a lot older conversations. I'm doing the twist to chubby checker and all this kind of bullshit instead of whipping and naining. So when you become older, I just always liked the sophistication, the conversation that I got from older people, not even just men, like older ladies as friends, hanging out with the older crowd at work. That's my crew. That's who I vibed with, making those dirty jokes, double entendres, da-da-da-da. So I get it. And I hate people always try and throw that out there like you're a gold digger. And we get into that a little bit later in the episode with Riley. But you're a gold digger. Oh, she's just going to take your money when you die. Nah. Y'all niggas just suck in your conversation skills. Not all of you. I'm not coming for anyone.
Yeah.
But that's just what it is.
Yeah,
I don't. It's similar because the same with hubby. His mom was older, and I think that's kind of same for him. Like, he likes a lot of older shows, music that he has memories of and stuff like that. And then I may be a little bit older than him. But yeah, I guess it does have to do with your growing up in your environment. And yeah, there's a young lady who's at the campground her dude's 75. And she's just, it is what it is. And I'm waiting for the next one that I can groom into being, but yeah.
All right.
I don't knock it.
I don't knock it either. Dean is 10 years older than me, and that is the largest age difference I've had with anyone since I was 16. And we won't go into that age difference because neither of us knew how old the other one was. And, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
It happens.
But like, as I get older, I definitely, like Dean and I were just talking about this the other day. I definitely have an appreciation for older men now. Was Oscar Isaac. We watched Dune. And I was like, Oscar Isaac can be my daddy. I would know him, like even him in like Star Wars just a few years ago, I did not find attractive at all. But now that he's like gray and grew a beard, I'm like, ooh, Oh, okay.
That's like the Isley Brothers when they did their verses
Mhm.
thing that they did earlier in the year. Hella women were like, "Uh-oh, that's Ron Isley? He could be Zaddy." Like that was a lot. That was a
Yes.
big thing.
And
I
they're
think
gonna
it's what it is too. Is if we look at it and think about it, I was saying this the other day. We're a lot younger than what our parents were. I think at our age. So I think that a age difference doesn't become as prevalent as it is when you're 20 and 60 or 70 or whatnot.
Mhm.
I think my whole thought was because I feel like we know grandpops. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like he seems so much older than whatever he may be. But I loved how she was so interested in his life and found that everything was so interesting. And
She
it wasn't
paid
in a
attention. She paid such close attention that
Yeah.
she saw the actual granddad, which he had never shown anybody else. And he
Well,
freaks out about
I like that
that.
she was like, I'm comfortable with who I am. I am who I am. I would love to be a part of who you are and what your life entails. I love that. Like when she was saying that, she wanted to be a main character. I was like, first of all,
Right?
those
Oh,
are
we're going to play
bars,
that
girl.
one because
Those are
that was-
bars. Yeah, but I
that was
just thought that
great.
what you're saying is very true. She was very, because everybody else was crazy that we know of.
Mhm.
And then they were very self-centered, the women that he's dated. So I think that was the difference too, is that she was like, oh wait, I was like, she's really into him. Like not fakely, but for real.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. All right. Yeah. Okay. Moving on.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
No, I want to talk more about what you just said, but we will talk about as the date continues, Robert regales Ebony about his times with MLK and Jesse Jackson, about Jesse Jackson threatening to cut his nuts off because he touched MLK's sandwich. She's amazed at his adventures, and Ruckus brings the check to the table, and much to his shock, Ebony picks it up. Back at home, Granddad is telling the boys that Ebony is different and that he's checked her out. Riley is concerned.
Here we go. You just won't learn.
I checked her out. I'm telling you, she's wonderful. Better than wonderful.
You sure she's not gonna hurt anybody?
Almost positive.
All right, Granddad, go ahead. Fall in love again. He's doing it again, Huey. I can see it in his eyes.
She's coming over tonight, and you two are going to behave. Got it?
Why don't you just sign your retirement benefits over to her? All your bank accounts, too. You just met her yesterday. Shh, what's taking so long?
Shut up.
And you an enabler. Enabling ass nigga.
So that's what we were just talking about. Riley is certain that this woman that Granddad just met can only possibly be interested in him because of his money, or she thinks he has money. Huey is not very vocal about how he feels. He just basically wants Granddad to be careful. And I think Huey is taking a very appropriate approach to this, where he's like, Granddad, you make terrible choices, and those choices have consequences that usually hurt us or someone else in the neighborhood. So maybe you should just not do this so fast. Whereas Riley is like, just saying that enables him.
Just go. Why are we wasting our breath? I don't know what it is.
So the next evening, Ebony, the Dubois, and the Freeman family are all having dinner at the Freeman home. They're having a chat about Robert's past relationships and are all happy that he's met Ebony. Just then, Ruckus shows up. He begins interrogating Ebony about her work. She tells how she works for a nonprofit who helped cure Patterson's disease. When Sarah hears this, she tells Ebony how her grandmother had it, and then she, sobbing, hugs Ebony and thanks her for saving her Nana. Of course, all of this, like what I didn't say there, was nobody believed her at first because what's her name? My brain
never heard of it.
Yeah, they had never heard of
Yeah.
it, and Sarah was out of the room. She was the only one who had heard of it. So when she came back, everyone was like, "Oh, this is real." Okay. Later, as everyone's leaving, Tom and Sarah talk about how amazing Ebony is, and when Ruckus comes in and he says it's all a trap, Robert shoves him out the door. Even Riley and Huey can't find any fault with Ebony, though Riley still thinks she's just going to wait until he dies to take his money. I love the last line of that scene. He's, let's call her a businesswoman. Because again, he just thinks that this is all a business transaction. It must be. Next, we see Robert in his bathroom looking at himself in the mirror. He steps out of the bathroom and into the bedroom where Ebony is standing there, nightgown on and with a glass of wine in her hand. She sits on the bed as Robert does a little dance, takes off his robe, and then turns off the light. He's also wearing his bunny slippers. They begin to make love, and she asks if they can turn on the lights. Robert is a bit insecure about this, and Ebony understands. So one question that came up for both kind of Dean and I as we were watching this one, why did he do a little cute striptease dance to make her laugh and then get insecure.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. 'Cause I was like, what do you mean you wanted the lights off? You just were in a banana hammock. Like, what? Like, what was that about? But
She didn't want him to see his old face.
That's got to be
For
it.
real.
there you go.
For real. That's what I was going to say. Also, people like,
There you go.
right, when you're doing a sexy dance, you have control of the room. You have
Yeah.
control of the situation. If you're really fucking, you don't know what the fuck. I'm a lights off person because I'm a control freak. Turn the lights off. I don't want you to know what I look like when I'm all out of sorts. So I get it. I get it.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. And you gorgeous, so
Yeah.
No,
I didn't think about the old face. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
didn't
sure, I
either.
feel like the old face probably came pretty quickly.
And then I was gonna say, especially because Grandpa's a little bit older, his old face is probably like quick and pretty like long lasting. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I'm
it was a whole
actually.
trimmer. Like they thought he was. Like,
I feel
you know,
like
he
they
was
would
trying
have
to take
showed
him.
him taking Viagra or something if he had an issue with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like maybe Granddad
Old
still
face
has
isn't
all of that
about getting
going.
it up. Some people
Yeah,
just got.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think also because they've never been approached before. They're like, this was if you want to call it a love scene, this was the first love scene that I can recall that it was that like apparent what was going on.
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah.
that's probably why that topic wasn't. But anyways, he tries to appear that he's in good health. He was jogging earlier in the episode, so maybe
Mhm.
that's what it was too. That she was attracted to him because he maybe still be in somewhat good shape, intelligent. She liked to hear his stories, so maybe that. do
It's
some
not
of it
like
too, but
it's not like he can disguise the fact that he has a belly. Whatever he's wearing,
Yeah.
you see it.
And
Yeah.
feel
So-
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
If this was on now, they definitely would have had a Blue Chew like reference or commercial in there. Somewhere.
Something having to do with maybe not even the blue pill because that's kind of, I don't want to say mainstream, but that's normalized now, but like some kind of joke about
I
an
already took it.
extends pill or something.
Yeah.
The one that
I
makes
was also
you
saying like
bigger.
Blue Chew, like that's the popular.
Oh,
That's
it's
the, like,
Blue
the most
Chew?
popular
Okay.
thing right now.
I
Yeah,
didn't know
like
that.
that's on all. Everybody using them as a sponsor. It's all over the place. It's like the new one. It comes. It's not aggravating. It comes discreetly to you. You don't have to have a prescription. You just go on the website, answer a few questions, talk to the doctors, which you don't really talk. You just answer questions back and forth, and then they send it to you every month. So,
All right.
yeah, it's a new thing. It's a new thing that the kiddos do.
Sometimes
the
those new
kiddos.
things turn out scary. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. At least they're actual, it's something such a low dose that it's not supposed to cause any long-term effects because people that are taking them may not necessarily need them health-wise, but yeah, so it's
And I'll leave the conversation where the advice my sister passed on to me when we were having the why do you like the lights off conversation. And she said, my oldest sister, Lindsay, if you're worried about what you look like, you're not fucking right.
Hey.
Good
Smart
answer.
woman.
So there that.
That is the best fucking answer right there. If you are if
Really
you
is.
are doing it right, you aren't
Mhm.
thinking about the fact that they're not looking at you like that either. They're
Nope.
probably
Yeah.
got their eyes closed or crossed. Or
It's like
looking at-
that. So there's in this little kind of similar story is that Mark Hamill told about when they were shooting the first Star Wars and they were in the trash compactor and his hair was all wet. And then he came the next scene, he's all clean and dry. And so he asked Lucas he goes, shouldn't I be wet and stuff? And Harrison Ford stops and says, kid, this is not that kind of picture. If they're looking at your hair, then you're doing something wrong.
Amen.
Yeah,
Very true.
yeah.
See, now you guys make me feel bad where I'm like all critical about the adult films that we watch, the pornos.
Oh no, I do that
But
with
I'm like,
that.
why are her shoes are ugly? Oh my God, those earrings are just
That is
not
something
eatable
different.
to
That
the
is
head.
absolutely different.
No.
That is on film for mass consumption.
Mhm.
And
It's
selling
basically
that shit.
masturbation.
It's not different. It's got when
They
everyone just
planned
stopped doing
that.
it.
They wore those earrings on purpose.
Let a porn movie
Yes.
just play. It's okay. It's not. Let it go. Just let the porn play. It's all right.
I had a boyfriend once a million years ago that told me that I should direct porn because I was always so critical of all the shit.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Girl.
that is not comfortable. That is not an angle that you would do if
Right?
the camera was not there. Who wants
Nobody
his
wants to be
face
on
there?
an island of the kitchen.
Right?
Nobody.
Right?
Like
She
nobody.
has her first 5 like porn movies already like directed out. In her head to where-
For sure.
I
Hire
might know
makeup.
some people who would talk to you about that, but anyway.
I'm like serious. I'm like, we gonna hire some like makeup student, like cosmetology students to come and do the makeup and keep that shit on.
Hell yeah.
Well, if I have to buy the outfits, I will. Like, I do not want to see you wearing something that you should have worn in 1984.
Next, we see Ebony and Robert on a date at the art museum, then walking on the beach, followed by playing rock band with the boys. Finally, they're watching the sunset. While doing so, Ebony is asking Robert about his adventures with all of the characters in his life.
I just love your life. You have these crazy adventures with these bizarre characters, and it's so much fun.
Never thought about it like that. Seemed like a bunch of problems to me.
I love it that you fight people with a belt. I love it that you're friends with a pimp named Slickback. I love that Riley thinks everything is gay. I know I shouldn't like any of these things, but I do.
Yeah, I guess it is kind of fun.
I want to be a character.
Cameo or reoccurring?
Regular.
Without going into any potential deeper meaning, because I think I'm going to have Dean talk about that a little bit when we get to the end of this. That scene to me was one of the most sweet and sincere things I've seen on this show. Yeah. That like we finally think that maybe Granddad is getting the woman of his dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Like genuinely, she is everything that he wants, and she thinks all of his stupid shit is funny and cute. So
and can handle it. It was the sweetest. Like I found myself like, oh my God, I could have totally seen that in a rom-com or, something else. But yeah, that was very sweet. And it showed also how she took the time to, like I said, once again, it not being about her, but being about integrating in his life. Yeah. He had responsibility still. I love the rock band thing because that was how hubby and I spent so many nights.
Yeah.
I would I was like, I wish we could find the whole rock band set now. Like that.
We have it. Come over.
Oh my God.
We've been cleaning out our storage and I keep finding pieces of our rock band set, but I don't think any of it works anymore.
My husband still plays that shit. That's like his de-stressor since I'm not fucking right. But
your husband's cool.
Yes. Oh my God. Like he's got to meet. He loved MJ. He's got to meet you all. But y'all have never witnessed what's about to happen. Like when you're like, oh, we thought he found it and da 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 da. Like y'all haven't either been through this yourselves or just watched a friend go through it. Like he found it.
Too good to be true.
But
it was like you definitely waiting for the other shoe to drop,
right?
Like I was like, oh, okay, let's get over the hump now.
Let's talk about that because let's move on because that's what Granddad. That's what his experience is.
Yep.
So back at home, Robert and the boys are talking about Ebony.
She's the perfect woman.
What's the problem?
She's too good for me.
Is that what she said?
No, she says she likes and accepts me for who I am.
So what's the problem?
She doesn't know the real me. No one normal can love the real me. I have to do something drastic before I screw it up. I should try to be someone totally different. Like Tyrese or Chris Brown. Someone who's not a dorky old man.
Yup, makes sense.
And I shouldn't tell her how much I like her. Women like to chase, don't they?
Yup.
Soon as she thinks she's got me, she's gonna move on to another old man to satisfy her sick old man fetish.
Nah, she probably just got a young nigga on the side.
Another man? Of course. With all these young men with good blood pressure running around. And he's probably be buff too.
Yup, real buff.
Like Tyrese buff?
Nah, like 50 Cent buff.
Oh no! He probably spent all his time in the gym getting strong. I bet she thinks of him every day, even when she's with me.
Especially when she with you. Granddad, this is silly. She obviously likes you. Just relax and be yourself.
Myself? Nah, that'll never work.
No one can love the real me. I should try to be someone different.
But that is the thought. Like, I picked this one for so many reasons.
Yeah.
First, that is the thought process of so many of y'all fake motherfuckers out here. Not even just in romance, in friendship, in business, and everything. It's all about projecting this image of what you think other people want and other.
Yep.
Yeah, they respond doing the same, and y'all get caught up in this fake bullshit. First of all, if I meet MJ and I start dating MJ and I'm fake as fuck to impress MJ, that means you have to keep up this fake as fuck persona for the rest of your fucking life. You want to do that? I don't want to do that.
It's tiring. And then you're blocking your actual true blessing and meeting somebody who could be there to love the real you. The real you in all of your flaws. That's so much more rewarding than you putting up a front and then being in this fake ass relationship.
Then one day you get tired or sick and you don't want to do it anymore, or you can't do it anymore. And then that person is out the door and you want to write them off as, oh, well, she was a gold digger. She was with me for my money. She's this and that and this and that. Nah, dude, you came into this with a fake persona. I'm sorry. I've been through this shit, y'all.
Yeah, and so have I. And it's damaging to the person that's involved with you because that person was all in. And no matter what you were putting out there, they thought that's what was the real you. So now you've then hurt somebody where they're probably going to go and hurt somebody else.
Or at least not trust somebody because of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And we don't know how long like we know approximately how many dates this was, but we don't know if it was all like in the same week or if it was spread out over a period of time.
Yeah, because they do like to make stuff seem a whole lot longer than what it is.
Right.
And then grandpa's in Cuba for a day or whatever it was. Like,
Right. Which
it seemed
makes
like it was
total, like, we will get into why that whole idea of it being how long or how short something is.
Yeah.
But this is something I love about this show is that you never really quite know how much they're showing you until the
No.
reveal at the end.
Yeah.
And to
think
the
that's on
old men
purpose,
out
too.
there.
Go ahead, Lindsay.
Yes.
Oh, shut up. Listen, I genuinely have liked every old quote unquote man I've dated. I never dated for money. I didn't fucking have to, not to sound like a fucking dickhead. I didn't have to. And it just is what it is. I just like people. I'm a sapiosexual. Danielle says she hates when I say that. She hates that term, but I am. If you can wow me with your intelligence and your wit and shit, I'm just like, I'm all in. But if you are going to get on this funny shit, which I said earlier, I almost dated an older politician. I'm going to tell you exactly why it didn't work out in a few moments. Okay?
All right. Robert goes to the local Radio Shack to buy spy equipment to track Ebony's moves because he
What
thinks
was it called though?
What?
Shady-O rack.
Shady-O
Yeah,
rack.
Shady-O
That's
rack.
right. Shady-O rack. He buys a GPS device and places it on her car. As she's going about her business, Robert and Ruckus follow behind. They spy on her in a yoga class and see that she's getting help from an attractive man in her class and talking to all the other men. Robert is brokenhearted. Ruckus, of course, is egging on the fact that she's so beautiful. What would she want with him?
Well, that's because he likes her. So
Right?
that's why he was able to. Yeah.
As Robert and Ebony are out together later, she sees that Robert has an earring in. It's a bell, which for some reason. When she brings it up to him, he gets really sensitive about it. As he's being defensive about it, he starts imagining all the other men around are leering at Ebony. This makes him terribly jealous. He starts yelling at everyone around, telling them to stop looking at her. Then he finds someone he thinks is the weakest looking man among them and goes to hit him. Next thing we see is Robert holding an ice pack against his head. He apologizes to Ebony.
There's so many younger, sexier men out there, like bald Boris Kodjoe or the British sophistication of an Idris Elba.
Robert, I don't want to date those guys. I've already dated those guys.
What?
I'm kidding.
Woo! Thought you was a hoe for a second.
An asshole.
Exactly.
She dated those guys
Right.
and found out she didn't want them. She wanted somebody with some more substance. And she's saying that to you, and you're calling her a fucking hoe?
Yeah, why you're wearing a T-ball or whatever those things. That's what it's on his ear. Like
It was a Johnny Depp scarf and a fucking jingle bell on his ear, yes.
it was horrible. Yeah.
And also, this idea that the only way to be attractive is to be a muscly, like perfectly chiseled man really needs to go away. Just in general, I know that in this it makes total sense because Granddad thinks that's got to be the ideal body, and I definitely don't have it. But just I wish more men would realize, more men presenting bodies realize that we like all of them.
Same, and I'm sure they say the same thing about us. That's what was
Right.
interesting to me about this was that was the underlying message. Like men still go through the same kind of insecurity, and they have a standard to meet as well through media and whatnot. They didn't put somebody big in. They didn't put Tracy Morgan in the role of Thor, or
Right?
or somebody like that. Like, yeah. So it's it goes this way.
You just did that muted, and now you have to go on mic to do it.
No, Loki. No, Loki.
I'm sorry.
That is so funny. That is funny. No, it was funny. That is
No.
funny.
Have you?
But also, how was Grandpa gonna hoe shame when Grandpa was like dating a hoe?
Right.
That is
A
why
literal
I picked the
one.
clip.
Yes.
Y'all already covering it though. That is why I fucking hate that shit from men. I hate it. And so many of y'all fucking do that shit. Not the old politician, but I definitely had a guy I was dating before. We were not in a committed relationship. And he asked me out and I was like, I got another date, which was my husband. And he was like, well, that's kind of hoish of you. Is it?
Mhm.
Is it, nigga? Because we are in the same friend circle. I know you're fucking other people. Oh,
Right?
move to the left with that. Okay.
Plus, and guys fuck women, but are they all fucking the same woman? Is that what they're thinking? These guys who say this stuff? Oh, it's only the one hoe.
Well, no,
there's only one hoe. Everybody else is a virgin.
It's all about the fact that when a man fucks a woman, his penis changes the shape of her vagina so that every other man. I can't even fucking finish that sentence. It's so fucking dumb.
That's so much cap, right?
We want to know somebody who knows what they're doing, and it's not like you just learn that on your own.
And
you gotta
that's
have
what I was going to
experience.
say. If she is a hoe, and one, I believe that we don't shame. It could be a kink for somebody. It could just be somebody
have your
being trying to be
fucking fun. There's
sexually
nothing wrong
free
with
and liberated.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong, I think, with women understanding who they are sexually, and you go through shit, and that means you have to try different ones and different things and go through some bullshit and learn some shit to be able to be that perfect sexual partner when you get with somebody that is like your soulmate or you want to give everything to.
Mm-hmm.
I think a real man appreciates and respects that. And when you're in a real adult relationship, you can be honest about your past, and it could either be a benefit, or if one of the people are insecure, then it could be a detriment. But that wouldn't be the only thing. It's going to be that or something.
Let it roll off your back, or let it be a growth opportunity. Let it be a chance to. I don't know about any of you out there, any listeners out there, but I hated sex for the first while until it started feeling more comfortable and I was more comfortable with myself. So not having sex would equal sex being uncomfortable, just physically. I don't know. It seems like such a stupid fucking thing to even what fucking year is it? It's
it should be a thing that actually unites us all, because for the most part,
the sexual revolution was in my mom's youth.
Yeah. For me, I'm one of the weird people. Like hubby goes, I always go, I wonder what kind of sex they have. I look at couples, or I look at people, I go, I bet it's good. I bet it's not. And it's just because everybody is sexual for the most part. Majority of our society is. And it's something that we have in common. And it's something that we all have questions about, or something that we may be a little shy about, or whatever. Like we all have the same emotions surrounding it.
But then AIDS came around and reverted people.
Yeah. That allowed people to be judgmental.
Although,
it's starting to be more common for people to be like, 10 they have threesomes and just being more sexual now, but definitely from like the 80s to the 90s, it was not very, it was taboo for you to do anything outside.
I'll say the 80s to fucking 2015. Like it's I think it's just now because there's more access to that information, and people are one channel alone, a TLC, they love putting shit like that. Like they love having shows like that. So when you have more platforms that are broadcasting it and showcasing it, or shining a light on it, the numbers start to go in a different direction as far as what's acceptable and what's not. And plus, I think people are starting to just get the fuck out of my business.
It's also,
I think that's what a lot of people
who's coming of age right now and who's driving the narrative. And a lot of those 20-somethings they're growing up in a world where the vaccines for HIV are starting to hit the market. Our generation grew up with AIDS basically starting at our birth. So we grew up basically, you should be terrified of having unprotected sex because not just because you might get pregnant, but because you could die. Whereas most STIs are completely treatable, or
which is why they change it from disease.
Right. Now it's infection instead of disease, which I love the idea that, because again, being driven by this younger generation that isn't embarrassed, people are talking about things more. You hear more women talking about their periods. You've got advertisement that full on says that women take a shit. And I fucking love that because I hate all of the I hate all of the bullshit, fakeness of society. And I know that this is my autistic brain. I'm constantly questioning why everyone has to be so uptight. And so when I see things like that, it makes me happy. When I hear in a Facebook group that I'm in, people talking about testing for STIs and how completely normalized the conversation is, and how people are being supportive of each other and telling them what to ask for and reminding them what doesn't get done regularly, because there are certain STIs that don't even get tested for anymore because they are so prevalent. So,
and I think it has to do with our increase in providing better medical, treatment
in most states.
And also with at our age, you had to get a letter to be able to go to the doctor by yourself as a young woman. Now you can be 13 years old and make an appointment to go get your first, pap smear or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's having those conversations. It's allowing us not acting like, oh, nope, 13-year-olds don't have sex when we know that they do. So let's make sure that they're informed and that they're taken care of, not listening to their friends who go to the Planned Parenthood, which may or may not be open. Or look at Texas right now. I don't even think they allow Planned Parenthoods to be open.
For a second there. Sorry.
Oh, no.
I was going to say Planned Parenthood is probably the best thing that ever happened to sexual education and sexual health.
Yeah.
But because our country is the way it is and we are governed by the people we are governed by, everything has to be made political.
Yeah.
So,
and it's bullshit.
Yeah.
And a woman's reproductive system and health should not be. But that's, like I said, look at Texas.
Yeah.
It is still made a platform and it's still governed by idiots who have never a day in their life had a period or a child or anything else. So yeah, there are definitely some pluses and things I like to see. 16 and Pregnant, they're giving credit to that show. As many fucked up women as they may have produced from it anyway, as adults, but they do credit that with the reduction in teen pregnancy in the country.
I absolutely believe it. When my oldest stepdaughter was in middle school, I think it was, one of her friend's sisters got pregnant and had a baby. And I absolutely 100% credit that to be the fact that the reason why most of her friends don't have kids yet.
Mhm.
Like, they learned early on that having a baby is going to be awesome one day.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
right now,
not now.
not so much.
And if you remember, at least now that when you think back about it, people in high school stuff, when we were in high school, if they were pregnant, they end up being taken out of school. So you didn't really, before
didn't
they
know.
started the show, so you never really saw that.
Yeah.
Now you'll have a girl that they won't necessarily take out of school, or I'm just saying they're still friends when they still communicate. They're not being sent off, so they're able to
They
see it
can
more
walk
to be
across.
like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sent our girls to continuation school. They could be there maybe until they started showing. And at that time, everybody knew because for some reason, all the girls like to talk about it in high school, but they did not finish there and they were not even able to walk with the class even after they had the child.
I remember when I was in high school that there were girls that were visibly pregnant when I was there, but I don't remember any of them still being there when they had their baby. But I don't know if that's just one of those things where they had the baby and then they were gone for 6 months because they just had a baby, or they had to go somewhere else or they dropped out or whatever. I don't have that memory.
Yeah. I know that none of them, and I knew clearly a couple that were pretty close, but they were not allowed. They were motivated and recommended very highly to go to the continuation school because it was going to be so much easier on her when the baby came.
I went to Catholic school, so you can guess the answer if I saw.
Oh, you mean nobody had sex at Catholic school?
Please.
My sister went to Catholic school. I totally know that that's not true.
I am a Nazareth girl. We were called the hoes on the hill. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, hubby.
Damn.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I agree. Girls who went to Catholic school, they were a lot easier to get them to go somewhere with you after school than it was necessarily a girl who's going to public school.
I mean, there's one specific school out in the
More
Bay Area
sex ed.
of girls. And they called them. Their name of their school is a Dublin.
Allegedly. I wasn't there when this day was doing this. But
Right.
Yeah. It's a double H. It's a double H word, holy, and then
Yeah.
And out here in St. Francis, we call it the St. Francis Go, the St. Freaks. That's what they were known as.
I hate that I remember what the nicknames were for the Catholic kids when I was growing up, but they weren't sexually based. They were all about like them being unattractive. Right? Like it's stupid shit that teenagers did. But yeah, I remember like when I was a freshman in high school, one of my best friends who went to Catholic school was like, my mom still thinks I'm a virgin, but I give the best blowjobs at school. And I'm like, okay, this is all right then. All right, let's see. Where were we? Back at home. Yeah. Back at home, out on the back porch, Robert is sitting on the steps. Riley is giving him grief for fighting for her. Granddad tells Riley that Ebony is going to give him another chance. Riley then brings up how long it's been since she called him. Robert goes to leave her a very pathetic voicemail. Now, one of the things that was really funny about that scene was Granddad was basically like, I'm not going to listen to you. And then he continues to listen to Riley and then digs in even harder. And so then Robert was... Oh, what was that?
It was very sad.
It was
like, stop.
Oh, it was so sad. It got sadder. Robert returns to the bench where he sat with Ebony during the sunset. Watching other couples walk by and feeling sorry for himself, he checks his phone. No new messages. He goes back home and starts depression eating and crying. He checks his phone again. Still no messages. He retreats to his bedroom, checking his messages again. Nothing. Riley bursts into the room telling Granddad he's found her. She's in Malaysia. Huey tries to downplay it, but Riley thinks that she's there for the inexpensive male prostitutes. Robert decides he's going to Malaysia. So then the next scene is Robert arriving in Malaysia, and he starts traveling from village to village, asking everyone he finds if they have seen her. Eventually, finding her, he asks her why she left without saying anything. She says, it's been 16 hours, and the flight is 12 hours long. She says she tried to call, but the phone doesn't work here. She tells him that she's there because of the typhoon.
I'm really shocked that you came all the way out here, but it's not healthy. Look at you. You look exhausted and stressed, and I don't know. I don't want to have this effect on you. You don't look happy.
I'm happy? What makes you think I'm not happy? It was all just a big misunderstanding. Whew. Well, since I'm already here, I might as well help out with the relief effort.
Robert, we have to slow this down.
No, let's speed it up. Let's go faster.
Robert, you'll be fine. Next week, you'll have some crazy adventure with another woman. You won't even remember this little episode.
I don't know. I'm not too sure I have many episodes left.
That was another one of those kind of poignant and a little bit heartbreaking scenes, because you are definitely finding out that Granddad was falling in love with her and that it could have been perfect. But let's go back to that 16-hour thing. That means that he took off after her after 4 hours of not hearing from her.
And I just realized that. I thought it was like, wow, no.
Right?
You do 12-hour flight.
4
hours and you had left like 30, you go to sleep crying.
You had to buy. He was eating ice cream and calling her and doing all kind of communications that don't even exist anymore. Tried to page her and send a telegram and all this shit. And then you still had to buy the airplane ticket, then get to the airport. So like maybe 2 hours.
Yeah,
that he didn't really hear from her. Like,
and fucking Riley.
Riley would have heard that. He'd be like, Grandma's a punk. Grandpa's a punk.
No, Riley knew that it had only been a few hours. He was there through all of that, giving Granddad a hard time. I think that it full on was Riley going, man, I wouldn't let that girl disrespect you. You haven't heard from her in how many hours? As if somehow this 8-year-old knows that 4 hours is some period of time that's important.
Well,
an 8-year-old who'd never been with a woman.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was something I meant to comment on earlier when I picked that clip when Granddad's going on about, oh, she probably wants men with better blood pressure and this and that.
Yeah.
Whoa, this is something I tell someone extremely close to me is in a new relationship. And I was like, bitch, you better not tell a single motherfucker about your relationship, even me, because this is what people do. It's just like the Kung Fu Wolf bitch episode where the friend is on the phone. You should just kill that nigga. Stop telling people about your new relationships because they give you the dumbest fucking advice on how to engage, how to enact. She probably wants someone buff. This is an 8-year-old. But even your weak ass friends are often a bunch of haters. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So keep that shit to yourself. 1, 2. When I said shit didn't work out with that older politician, this is why. This was the level of shit going on. Like, I've known you for a week. And I remember at one point I was babysitting my nieces and nephew, and I'm trying to spend time with them. Like, them my niggas. Like, that was really like my love circle or whatever. And I told them, oh, I'm not going to text you back for a while. I'm with my nieces and nephews. Child, I want to say I had 50-something text messages from this man in the span of a couple of hours. I was like, this is weird. And then we were supposed to go to dinner. And I remember I told Danielle about that Monday at work, about everything that had gone on. And I was like, I feel really uncomfortable. She was like, bitch, don't go.
At all.
And
crazy. The rain.
Exactly.
No.
And I took the advice and I did not. And that was that. But yes, go ahead, MJ. I'm sorry.
Oh no, girl. I was gonna say that was that is a sign to be like, you know what? Halt, stop, don't go any further. Because that is like I told you, I'll get back at you. I'm with my family. Like he probably was trying to find out where you were. Probably driving around the city thinking you were at a certain spot or something. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
Girl.
It just is contradictory also to everything that Grappa said he was. Like, respectfully, that's not what players and what I might have used to be when I was younger would do. If a chick ain't gonna respond to you in 2 hours, or you already done try to holler at somebody else, you're not sitting there flying 12 hours to go see her now.
And the player type, quote unquote, that I dated, they'll try and not answer you for 4 days
Right.
to
Yeah.
punish you.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, how dare you? So,
Facts.
Be hella
Facts.
mad that you showed up in Malaysia.
Players are the best petty people probably there are. Like, it's no problem.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. So Granddad said goodbye, or she said goodbye to Granddad, and he went back. Back at home, there's a knock at the door. Robert answers it to find Ruckus standing there in a tux holding flowers.
Where's she at? Where's she at? Miss Brown! Miss Brown! Oh, I know she in there, Robert, and I can't hold my feelings inside no longer. Marry me, Miss Ebony Brown. Do me the honor of becoming Mrs. Uncle Ruckus.
No relation?
Horrible friend you
That's
are.
his maiden name.
Horrible raggedy ass flowers you tried to bring in there for her. Like,
Right?
and then what made you think that you were just that one? Like after you berated her and
This
talked
is
to-
the
and-
only black woman he's ever found attractive.
So I guess he thought maybe
obsession.
that it was his time. Like he was gonna get her.
It
'cause
was
she the
meant
first
to
one
be.
and that special one.
It's delusional obsession. Now, I have been on the receiving end and witnessed this
Yeah.
shit. You guys have never seen this
Yeah.
when you have that friend or associate. Let's say someone just hates on Tiara all the time. They're just talking shit about her, hating on her. But this nigga is always asking you, like, oh, well, how's Tiara? Where's Tiara at? Did you hear Tiara did this? Yo, dude, we all fucking see you, you fucking psycho. And that's
Yeah.
why I thought this was so funny about Ruckus. Like, you sit around and talk about this man or woman like a fucking dog, but then you're always like, oh, did you hear from them? Or what are they doing?
Yep.
Or did you hear this and that? And they'll even try and rile up hate so that people, just so they can have an excuse to talk about you to other people.
Oh yeah.
Oh, child, it is so creepy and weird.
And it's just like, why are you so obsessed? Yeah, I want to sing Mariah Carey to them, or like, and it's just like, back in the day when I had energy for it, it was like, okay, cool. But now I see it for what it is, and like I said earlier, use it for motivation, keep it going. But I'm not gonna. I don't even want to feel, sorry for you, because that's energy you don't even need to get from me.
Yep.
So it's. And then, like you said, everybody, it's scary because people are a little bit more. They act more on their obsessions now than previously. Through our lives, we've had celebrities and people, pop culture people that have unfortunately been killed by people that are obsessed over them. But now it's even more so. People feel like they have so much more of a connection to you that they're even more prone to jump. They're feeling froggy. They're gonna jump.
And I really think it's because of social media, right?
Oh yeah.
So like we have no access. Meanwhile, they're just watching your page all day. You know what I mean?
It used to be that you would read People magazine or National Enquirer like once a week. And now you're getting it
I think
every 5 minutes.
I think it started the personalization with everybody with reality TV.
Oh, definitely.
Because then you're right there, and this is them.
But
They're the real them.
tabloids were a thing long before that, and people were fucking crazy long before that. I think that the perceived access to people is from social media. Absolutely.
Look how many people have been in people's houses.
Right.
And these people live in Calabasas and very high security areas, and somehow they find out the way in, and they're in somebody's bed, taking a shower, making themselves a sandwich, like this. And because it's of that, before you had fan clubs, and that fan club was just because you wrote in.
Unless
and was like,
you're,
I want to be part of the fan club.
Selena's fan club person who killed her.
Yeah.
Yolanda.
Yeah, started.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
Selena.
was trying to remember her name.
This YouTuber I love, Rich Lux. If you guys don't watch him, he's always takes out a little. I thought about it when you said blasting flies, the haters, blasting them with saltwater guns. He starts every episode out, gotta get the Yolandas out of the comments, and then blasts a little laser gun. Sorry, random.
I like
Rich
that.
Lux.
I love
check
that.
him out.
No, I do love that
Yes.
though. I'll have to put that. Yeah, facts right there. That's another good facts right there. Facts,
Oh, yeah.
facts, no printer.
That is gonna catch on. Watch.
Sure.
Don't do that. Stop. No, don't stop.
Say no, my son's creativity, because he wants to break it down. He's on nobody uses fax machines anymore. I was like,
No,
it doesn't.
that's not
matter.
it at all. I say facts, FACTS, and he's saying facts, FAX. It's just two different things. That's all.
Yep,
It's
totally.
Hashtag it. It belongs to.
And now our
Alright,
friend has changed it to where she's okay. So she says facts, like spelling it the right way, and this still says no printer. And now I'm like, okay, well that completely makes no sense. Now, so why would you say no printer out of nowhere?
It's catching on. It's already.
All right.
Yes.
Belongs to Jackson Xavier. Don't know it. Nobody try to, claim it as their own.
Well, after that giant show of appreciation, Robert tells Ruckus that she's gone. Ruckus asks if she's ever coming back. Robert doesn't know, but that she told him he doesn't love himself enough, which of course Ruckus agrees with because he's a black guy. How can he love himself?
Yeah. And he's a hater.
I didn't say the words, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Only Ruckus can say that. I mean.
Yeah, true. We end with Robert in bed with his laptop, starting a new Facebook account. This one is a little more truthful and actually seems like Robert might be talking about himself instead of someone fake. So obviously one of the main themes of this was Granddad realizing that all of this fakeness was drawing fakeness, finally finding somebody who accepted him for him, and then maybe starting to accept himself for himself. But I actually would like Dean, if he wants to tell us there's a little internet sleuthing that he did that I found really interesting.
As we know, and maybe not everybody knows about this, but this was Aaron Magruder's last season on the show because he was fired after the end of the season. And the speculation is he knew that this was coming, and because of the pressure that he was getting, basically he inserted himself as Ebony Brown, where Granddad is basically the production company. They're trying to force him. Granddad trying to speed things up. They wanted him to get part of the biggest reason that they said that he was let go was because he wasn't cranking out the scripts fast
Took him
enough.
too long
And,
to- yeah.
So as he was creating, they would, we need it, and he goes, his time is whatever it takes him, whatever it takes him. So that was, and so like Granddad at the end, no, I want to speed it up. And his whole point is he's saying, I love all these characters. They're flawed and they're perfectly flawed in the way that they should be. And so it's his love story and his heartbreak about what he knows is about to happen. Cause we know he reads the future. So
especially when he said, I don't know how many episodes I have left.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's when I was watching, I watched the episodes like 4 or 5 times in a row, basically. And I think it was after the 3rd or 4th time that Dean came in and explained that to me. And I watched it again. And I'm like, oh, now all of this it feels so much more like I get it.
Yeah.
All of the times when Ebony is saying, I love all these things about you, even though it feels like maybe I shouldn't, but I do. It sounds like Magruder saying, I love these characters and I love this show, but I can't do it any faster than what I'm doing. And if that's not...
Even though Ruckus is a racist, he still makes me think a little bit about myself. Even though he has that side, he's like, I still think about myself even when I'm talking about all these things that us Black people are doing. It still makes me self-reflect.
And it sounds like he's responding maybe to comments that are out in the world too.
Yep.
Out in the world,
sometimes.
Yeah, I was saying that too, yeah.
This season is basically 2010, I think is when it was done. So yeah, the internet was a thing for sure, Facebook and all that stuff.
Bigger,
So at that point in time, I'm sure he's getting tons of comments.
Oh my gosh, he just makes me love him even more because it seems like there could be nothing else but that and what the meaning of this episode is.
Yeah, when you look at it with that in mind, it totally changes the whole thing. Because it's a great
rewatch it,
right? It's one of those things where it feels like if I was watching this back when it was made, I would go, oh, I wonder if this is the last season. This sounds like they're coming to some kind of a resolution. Like I feel again, looking at it again from that point of view, it's I can see Magruder basically saying, I know this is going to end.
Yeah.
And if I look back on that time, that's really when Facebook was blowing up and people talking about things and boards, just certain fan boards and things like that were becoming really huge. So if I do remember fans, really big fans of ours, like friends of ours that were huge fans of the show saying they felt like it was almost over. And they also felt like a lot of the stories were being incomplete, like the episodes were incomplete. I do vaguely remember, especially like Hummy's fraternity brother, who was really, really, really huge, crazy fan. I remember him saying something back then. But
they took a break in between the 2nd season and the 3rd season. Longer break.
Yeah, it was like because they started in 2005. So the first season was 2005, 2006. Next season was in 2006, 2007, and then they jumped to 2010.
And that's probably why there was the complaint about it not being fast enough.
I remember my friends were saying it wasn't the same when it came back.
Well, yeah, when it came back for season 4, which was I think 2014.
Yeah, that definitely was it. We tried to watch it and I was like, no, thank you.
I've never even seen any of those episodes.
I think the very first episode, I remember going, we can turn this off. It just, in the first episode, it was just all wrong. I do remember that.
I remember Granddad as a TSA.
Sorry.
We're talking about who played
Ebony.
Who played Ebony.
The voice of Ebony Brown was Gina Torres. If you do not know who she is,
yes,
Lawrence Fishburne's ex-wife. She was in Firefly, which is what I really know her from. She was in Suits.
Have you ever been with a warrior woman?
Oh, she was
I
in
think I knew
Matrix
her from
Reloaded. I
Suits
forgot
because
about that
the
one.
what you call it was on, right?
Say that
Meghan
again.
Markle.
Which we
Was
could.
it Meghan Markle on Suits?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how I know who Gina Torres. Okay, that's how I know who she is.
Yeah.
Not that I watched it, but I know because
tall,
of when
statuesque,
Oh my
beautiful
God.
black woman.
Oh.
when Meghan Markle was becoming a big deal. The whole cast got some shine on them and some exposure that people weren't aware of them. So that's how I know who she is. And then she was with Lawrence Fishburne until recently, right?
Mhm,
Yeah.
Just a couple years
Yeah.
ago.
Okay.
Go watch. If you haven't watched Firefly, go watch it. There's not much to watch, but
She's one of the best things about
she
it.
and she's in leather pants.
She's she's
She's
the
in
warrior.
leather
She's like the fighter. Well, she's one of the two, but
Okay.
she's married to
strong
Alan
character.
Tudyk's character.
I love their
Okay.
dynamic so much. It's so cute because he's just a dork.
He's
and
completely
she's
smitten
so
with him,
serious.
with
yeah.
her.
And he's just, I don't know. There's so many. Yeah, you should watch that just so that you can understand me and Dean more because seriously.
Yeah, I was
there was
wondering this whole
there was a
time who
season
was
and a
the
movie.
voice.
Yeah, a season and a movie and a graphic novel series.
Yeah, the graphic novel series has gone a lot longer.
Yeah, definitely.
But on some real shit, y'all,
Yeah.
Yep.
they did not cancel that show because he was not putting out episodes fast enough. Real shit, if you're a Black person and you're very, very talented at what you do, people will find a way. And I don't even want to say it's like a racial thing only. It's a racial, you will be targeted for racial reasons, but it's kind of like if you won't play the drum of Hollywood and get into that cult shit, like if you're going to make episodes about Tyler Perry and you're going to be very
Yeah.
outspoken and you're going to reveal truths of society and be a truth teller and all that shit, they will find a way to push you out.
Oh yeah.
That is what it is. And that is
1000%.
likely what
They've
happened
done
in
it to
this
everybody.
situation.
They've
Yep.
done it to every man in the history, whether it's been political, whether they've been musicians, whether they've been not every man, but I'm sorry, a lot of Black men. I'm sorry.
Yeah. How
And
many
a lot of
week
Black
after
women.
week?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes,
We
every
sit
Black-
here and we talk about the genius and the foresight and the creativity and the he's amazing. These people sat around saying the same shit, and then someone said, "Get him out."
Well, he's putting some truth to shit too. We've always heard about, just say for example, the dirty shit that women have to do to be able to get up, along in Hollywood.
Yeah.
What if he would have started to talk about that tongue in cheek? You know what I'm saying? What if he wanted?
Absolutely.
It's
Oh,
really
Yeah, he did.
because
He
he was
was.
because she was
Yeah.
ready to do that. I think he was fearless against that. So I think that's also something that they're afraid of.
But you
Like you
gotta
said,
think,
start to tell the truth too much.
got to think about the fact that, especially when you're thinking about women in Hollywood, that just recently has become a big enough story that people are actually believing.
Yeah,
Back
like
in
he
the
would've
day,
pulled-
yeah,
yeah.
and that took the entire life of Hollywood has been
Yeah,
nothing but
yeah.
casting couches.
Yeah.
So what Aaron McGruder was doing was basically flipping off all of these people every week. And they fucking hated it. And it's like what you guys were saying. They knew that he was brilliant and he was innovative and that he could see the future, basically. But that
Well, and that
scared them
terrified.
because because they were the bad guys in his future.
It's like Ted Lasso's therapist said, "The truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off."
Yes.
Oh yeah. There you go. And could you imagine now, especially with the platform like Netflix and Hulu and other platforms where he can take his show? Could you imagine if it was still on, but then they were starting to do it that he could have easily just been like, all right, it's cool. I'm gonna go ahead and take it to Netflix because Netflix is bring it on over. We don't block creativity here. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it is going to still be on the same platform.
Yep.
If he will have an opportunity to say, I don't want to be quieted. I don't want to have the same restraints that I had before and go somewhere where he was going to have all freedom.
It seems like HBO, with the stuff that they're doing on their own now, they seem to be taking a lot more risks. Doom
And they're-
Patrol, which is something you wouldn't normally
Oh,
see.
no.
And it's brilliant, and it's brilliant and quirky, and,
And
yeah.
they took one of their best, the two best named actors in that, and you don't see either of their faces hardly ever.
Nope.
You've got the one who's covered in burns and
He looks like the
and
mummy.
rats. He looks like the Invisible Man,
Hmm.
traditionally. And then you've got the one in a robot costume who you only see in flashbacks. And those are the only two names that are recognizable before the show starts.
Mhm.
Like, that's fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Was Lovecraft Country on HBO?
Yes.
Yeah. So I loved what they did with Lovecraft Country. They did that same thing. They had some big names, but they weren't in roles that you would expect. They had Michael, one with the scar from The Wire.
Yeah, the one that he just
That
died.
just-
Jesus, can't remember.
But he
Yeah.
plays the uncle. He's not even in like a starring role. And he was probably one of the biggest names on that marquee when that show came out.
Yeah, him and
I
him and
love that they
Marshall.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I love that they're
And I
willing
think
to
they're
take
taking, because
chances.
we look and we go, certain shows could not be on right now like they were before.
Yeah.
And couldn't even, I think, have the same topics. Like, for example, one of the content creators we watched today showed an episode of We Are One or whatever. It was like it was based off of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett's life.
Mm.
Back in the day, it was on UPN or CW or whatever back in the day.
Okay.
But there was an episode where the son was playing was it All For One? Yeah. Yeah, I just remember that Lisa Ray was in it and she can't act a lick. The son was playing goldfish with his white friend and it was a Christmas party or something and there was a lot of people there. And he ends up saying, "Goldfish, nigga," and then doing a dance. And first of all, it's funny because of the way they all like how succinct he is when he says it. But I was like, that would not be an episode on any major television channel right now.
Yep.
I'm Married with Children. That's also something that would not be able to be out right now. So it's funny that HBO is actually going, you know what? We're going to try it. So shows like Curb Your Enthusiasm and other shows that they're rebooting that you would think, things couldn't be said in current times, but they're taking that. And I think they're trying to compete with Netflix, but they're also saying, let's allow people to have more control over their content.
Yeah, I think that HBO right now, like if you look even at John Oliver, who's the biggest social commentary on there, even makes fun of HBO and what they call business daddy AT&T.
Yeah.
And
I do like that he calls it that.
always just fucking with them hardcore. So yeah,
He'll start fake wars with places like the Cheesecake Factory or just for fun, but also to skewer them for some bullshit thing that they might have done
Yeah,
somewhere.
mistakes they made. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's a way of holding them accountable. It's
Yeah.
calling them to the carpet. And for me, what is amazing about that is the money that they bring in and the success that it is for the company. It makes all that other shit moot to them. Like, they don't care. Say what you say, make fun of us, talk about some of our practices because you're still making them successful. So it's funny how that plays into everything that we do.
yeah. All right. Anything else from this episode that you guys wanted to talk about before we move on to our next part?
I want to say it's probably one of my favorites, and especially knowing the
I
backstory
agree.
behind it. I think it's one of my favorites.
I agree. I think this is probably one of my favorites. I liked the relationship between the two of them. I hated that it was only 16 hours.
Yeah.
If that had been like a real kind of thing, I could absolutely see. I don't know. It made me sad that Granddad couldn't quite make it work with the one that was perfect for him.
Yeah. It reminded me of all my crushes in high school.
Yep.
Like crying and listening to slow music for
Yes.
6 hours, eating ice cream. And then it was like, oh, okay. Then you're all right the next day.
All right. We ready for the yeah, let's do it.
Welcome to Stupid White People Questions.
You mean I'm gonna stay this color?
hey kids, how's everybody doing? So for Halloween, The Weeknd dressed as Don Corleone. I don't know if anybody saw this. It was out on the social medias. He looked amazing. Spotless, flawless job.
Mm-hmm.
And saw the picture. He had done a number of pictures, and I through this, I had also seen some prior ones that he'd done, which were also amazing. There was, however, a comment or something very similar to this comment that went along with it, saying, "Isn't this kind of whiteface and cultural appropriation?" So
Okay.
now,
So-
and
It was like somebody was
I know
waiting.
Lindsay saw the thread that went on. So
So I before we, really get into it, I just want to point out that this man obviously paid a lot of money to get a really sophisticated mask created. Looks like one of those like Mission Impossible type things.
Mhm.
Like you think that is what it is. Not makeup. It is some kind of like silicone prosthetic thing. Like
what
that's
they put
not
on
his face.
Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire. Like that was a piece, like you're saying. And like you said,
Yeah.
lots of money. Lots of money.
So, like, my point with that is maybe on his hands, they lightened the skin color with makeup. But the reason, first of all, the reason why is because whiteface isn't a thing. But also, The Weeknd wasn't doing that to pretend to be that character. Like, he had a mask on. If he had taken white face paint and painted his face and said, "Oh, I'm Italian," that would be one thing. But it's not any different than, say, Ving Rhames' character on Mission Impossible being the one wearing the mask. And the mask happens to be a white guy. So, I don't know.
Usually when people are doing blackface, it's to get laughter or make fun of somebody. And
Right.
from him doing The Godfather, I don't think that was more of homage to a good movie that our culture and community likes, not him trying to make fun of Italians or
It was
that
respectful. He was
Godfather
trying to
role.
honor that character. And it was a character. He wasn't being a
real
human
person.
being. He was
Yeah.
being a character from a movie. Wearing the clothes and
Right.
wearing a mask. Like the hands are the only thing that I think that could be maybe like pushing the line. And even that, it's only for the fact that when people are doing blackface, we basically tell them, don't change your skin color for the character. If you can't make the character work without changing your skin color, you're doing something wrong.
Facts.
This was
like, there's always
something-
clothes or some
Right.
other
This was a
characteristics that
whole
you can
different level.
identify. Yeah. Hubby
This
and
is-
I dressed as Sandy and Danny Zuko. And
We were Kaniki and Rizzo dressed as Danny
That's even
Zuko.
better. That is
Okay.
even better. My sister used to joke that she grew up wanting to be a Sandy and turned into a Rizzo.
Oh,
yeah,
I was definitely
nothing
like,
wrong
I
with
wanted
that.
to be, yeah, I wanted to be Sandy. And then the one time that I got to play somebody, it was Rizzo. And I was like, okay, this is actually who I should be.
Right?
But
Tell
yeah,
me
so
more. Tell me more.
So I have my hair dyed blonde. I didn't put on a.
virginity.
Yeah. We love it. We absolutely love it. Our boys love it. Like they know it so much
Nice.
already. But
Dina's never
we
seen
didn't do
it.
anything other than he wore a t-shirt that said T-Birds. I
Nice.
wore, black leather pants, a black bodysuit. I wore red lipstick. It was so I didn't feel like we had to go through the whole process putting on white makeup or to change our faces for that to come across. Yeah, we've done Sons of Anarchy. People were taking pictures with us. I was like, you guys know we weren't really in the show or in the part of the gang for real. Yeah, we took pictures like we literally were on the cast and crew. It was crazy, but
Nice.
we didn't do anything other than wear the identifying clothes.
Yeah.
That was it. And it came across. So I don't understand why that's such a hard task and concept.
feel
for
like-
those to
Yeah,
gather.
one of the things that popped up was about like doing the blackface thing, and guy honestly said, "What if I just really like Michael
Oh,
Jordan
yeah.
and I want to honor him? You put on the fucking jersey. It says Jordan right
Wear
there on the
his
goddamn
shoes.
back."
And a
Like, if-
horrible place steering. That's what all you have to do. Honestly.
Like we were joking about it, basically saying, if you really want to go the whole mile, put on a bald cap, but you don't change the color.
Yeah. Maybe get the lengthening surgery and make you taller now.
Well,
Like,
like,
you know,
if I was going to do, I don't know which one it is on Kid and Play, the one that has the straight up hair. I mean, I would not change my hair color
No.
to do
You'd
that.
probably wear a wig.
No, yeah. Or if I had that
Or
long
do
of
your
hair.
hair. Yeah.
1,000%. Yeah.
And
Thing
it
is-
would mimic a thing that is well known about that character.
And then dress
Yeah.
as he
Somebody
does.
who doesn't have the money of the weekend wanting to do Don Corleone, what I say it? Corleone would wear a suit and the way
a
he
pinstripe
talks and the way
suit.
he moves. They're not going
Yeah.
to change their face to
A
look
cigar,
like
look.
right.
If you went to any Spirit Halloween store this past few months or past week, you saw the gangster costume
Mhm.
9,000 times, and none of it included makeup.
But
Like-
someone doing blackface, they don't look like the person they're imitating. They just look like someone with black face on.
Mm-hmm.
He actually, like you guys said, he has a mask on, so it can't be whiteface because he literally looks like Don Corleone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's
he's
a little bit
wearing
different
a
than him
mask, yeah.
just changing his face. That's not
Yep.
the Weeknd's face that we're looking
Yeah,
at.
when he
right
walked
there.
into the party, nobody would have been like, "That's the Weeknd."
Right.
Nobody know
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying? They'd have been like, "Oh, blah blah
Yeah.
blah."
I mean, yeah, and by the way, I do highly recommend going look at his prior Halloween
Yeah,
costumes
he's
because they were
on
fucking
it.
awesome.
Like
Yeah. He's
I
like
will
the Heidi Klum. Like
Yes,
Heidi Klum. How
yes.
she is,
if I
like,
had
she
the money,
kills it
that
every
would be
year.
me, 100%.
Yeah.
I fucking
Man,
love
really?
the
If I had
idea
so much
of
money,
Halloween.
yes. She does great.
Yeah, you know, I haven't seen what she's done in the last few years. Like back when she was with Seal and they had the kids. Every year I would be like, what did they do?
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah,
that
I don't
shit.
think I
Them
think,
and,
I don't,
oh god,
maybe COVID. They didn't. I don't
Maybe.
know. That's that. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm looking up now.
I don't remember anything.
what about and Doogie Howser?
Oh, Neil Patrick Harris.
And
Yeah,
his,
him and
they
his
all-
kid.
yeah.
Him and his husband and his kids. The last few years have been doing really good with that too. To look for that. See exclusive photos of Heidi Klum's 2021 Halloween. Okay.
Oh, okay. So she did do one. Okay.
Oh wow. Wait. No, I got an ad. Hold on.
We were at a party and this one lady
That's
did
porn.
Ursula she did Fiona one day and looked
Nice.
so good. And the next day she was Ursula and she killed it. And I wasn't going anywhere.
Oh, I
She
feel
should have
old.
won all kind of awards. It was really good.
Heidi Klum's kids are 17, 16, 14, and 12.
Wow.
My, oh my.
When did that happen? That's
Holy
crazy.
shit. This is
Dang.
so, yeah, you should look up Heidi Klum's makeup for this year because she did some really fucking, I can't even, it's.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up because I thought she didn't. We were camping all weekend. We were camping. We're like, just
I think she's a zombie. I think it's a zombie, but there's so much makeup and prosthetics. Like, yeah. Yes.
So
okay.
good.
There's
I want
a picture
to one
of
day
it.
just be invited. Just be invited. She doesn't have to talk to me. I just want to be invited and be able to go to one.
Yep.
She's really good.
I've said this before, but this is the thing with us in blackface. Like, we get the pageantry of wanting to get the perfect costume and get it right and go viral and all this kind of bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And while we know there are amazing things about being Black. Everyone on this podcast, I'm sorry, Dean, is proud about being Black. Go listen to the pre-show and the story that was told there about what it is to be Black. And then I want you to take a minute and kind of think about it. Like, walking around Black can get you murdered. You can get shot for nothing more than walking down the street as a Black person. Driving down the street and you end up strung up in a jail cell, sleeping in your fucking bed in your own apartment, and the police come in and murder you.
And get away with it.
Right, and no justice is served.
Yeah.
That is what it is to also be Black. There are also a lot of dark things that occur when you are Black. And a lot of people don't like that I say it, but I consider us to be treated as second, if not third class citizens in this country.
Girl.
For example, please see January 6th versus the Black Lives Matter protests that popped off.
Yep.
All right. So let's go there. So when you say for one night, I'm going to dress up and I'm going to be Michael Jordan, and put my Black makeup on, and you have the time of your life partying it up, doing the get down challenge and whatever else you're doing. Oh, great for you. I'm glad you have fun. But then you hop in the shower and you go to work the next day.
Yep.
And you wave to Bob, your friendly neighborhood police officer, and you have a great day in your white skin, and you don't deal with worrying about getting shot down the street. So it's like, to us, it's a slap in the face because you are enjoying all of the fun, not all, but some of the fun aspects of being a Black person. Hey guys, look, I'm Black Michael Jordan. See how I dance? All this kind of bullshit, which is still a mockery. But then to you, Halloween ends and you're back to living in a world of privilege. Your best friend, Deshaun, okay, he's walking down the street and trying to not to get shot while breathing. So that's what it is. That's why it's offensive. We've asked you not to do it. Don't do it.
Just don't do it, right? Mic drop on that point.
Yeah.
On that point. There you go.
It's a perfect mic drop.
Lindsay always has them.
Don't drop the mic, though. Those are expensive.
Oh my God, that's because I'm listening to y'all and taking notes. Okay.
All right. You guys have anything you want to promote on this? Let's see, this will be next week. So the second week of November when this episode comes out.
I don't, but there's a YouTube channel I really love called Belief in Fatherhood. You all should watch it. That's all.
MJ, you got anything up to come?
More podcast episodes. I announced a couple of things that I have coming up. If you guys have a chance to vote, please vote.
Yes.
I think the voting's going on until the 2nd, I want to say, of December. Oh, yes. Mystic Roots, which is a huge, very talented reggae band that is out of Chico, California. Very good friends of mine as well. I fell in love with the band 20 years ago, and now I can really consider them friends. They are playing in Sacramento on the 20th, but they're also going to do a live guest hosting spot on the podcast. So November 20th is when that will take place. So if you guys like some good reggae music, or if you're a fan, make sure that you check on into Menage with Mary Jane Maven podcast.
Cool. I think with us, do you have the next Disputed set up?
Not yet. I think we're probably heading down the path of Black Dynamite versus Brock Sampson.
Nice. All right.
So
Okay.
Yeah. Look those characters up and think about who you would back in that fight, because that would be a fun one. All right. I hope everybody is surviving as we get into what is, for a lot of us, the hardest time of the year. Holidays are coming up, and just everybody out there, remember that whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through, you're not alone. Reach out, talk to a friend. Don't let the world get to you right now, because we're almost through this shit. And when we get to the other side, we want to see you there. So,
Very good. I agree. I concur.
all right, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I need you to get the hell up out of here.
Hey, thanks for joining us again as we make our way through the trials and tribulations of the Freeman family. We hope to see you back again next time for Mr. Medicinal. Want to know where to find us on the social medias or where to subscribe to the podcast? Just head right over to www.theboondockspod.com/links.
Have a stupid white people question you want to leave us? Email us at host@theboondockspod.com or leave us a voicemail at 760-933-8636. That's 760-we-3-UNDO.
Shout out to the artists who've created our intro and outro tunes. Our intro is #MakeAChange by KIRK. You can find them on Spotify, iTunes, and Tidal. Our outro is Good Times by Audio Binger. You can find them on freemusicarchive.org and YouTube.